Ah, the French.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today, and I hope you had a good weekend. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Spooky. Good to see you, Gale. And Kit, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of silence. Some say it is golden. Anyway, yes, we are mid-game. We're in the middle of Arendelle right now. How many cutscenes? Oh, dear. You may have predicted it incorrectly, but you may have predicted correctly. We don't know until the end. But I hope everyone had a good weekend. I had a lovely Palm Sunday. Before we dive into Kingdom Hearts, we've got our reading from Gaudium et Spes. This is paragraph 34 for anyone who wants to follow along at home. Hey, love. Individual and collective activity, that monumental effort of humanity through the centuries to improve the circumstances of the world, presents no problem to believers. Considered in itself, it corresponds to the plan of God. Humanity was created in God's image and was commanded to conquer the earth with all it contains and to rule the world in justice and holiness. Humanity has to acknowledge God as maker of all things and relates ourselves and the totality of creation to him, so that through the dominion of all things by humanity in the name of God would be majestic in all the earth. This holds good also for our daily work, when humanity, with men and women, provide for themselves and their families in such a way as to be of service to the community as well. They can rightly look upon their work as the prolongation of the work of the Creator, a service to their fellow people, and their personal contribution to the fulfillment in history of the divine plan. Far from being considered a conquest of humanity's genius and courage as opposed to God's power, as if we set ourselves up as a rival to the Creator, Christians ought to be convinced that the achievements of the human race are a sign of God's greatness and the fulfillment of his mysterious design. With an increase in human power comes a broadening of responsibility on the part of which individuals and communities. There is no question, then, of the Christian message inhibiting humanity from building up the world or making them disinterested in the good of their fellows. On the contrary, it is an incentive to do these very things. Faith is not an excuse to do nothing in the world. In fact, it is an obligation to do plenty. And also a source of hope. Like, I think that section has a lot of hope. But yeah, so we're going to keep doing Kingdom Hearts 3. We will have a cutscene of silence today for copyright reasons. So anyway, let's get back into it. And wrote it already. Well, happy Holy Monday. Ooh, I know I looked at the gospel and I had a thought about it, but it escaped me. Ah, yes, the anointing of Jesus by Mary.
We have to find Elsa.
Shown in the Gospel of John is this very prophetic thing responding to Jesus' upcoming burial. But just kind of a beautiful action. Anointing his feet in particular, like this.
We can do it. Come on.
This combination of great humility and great love that is in that act, in recognizing who Christ is. Hey, K-Max. Oh, I heard someone coming into the office. Tell me, probably just sing mouth to let go. I could do that. You just need to let it go. What if I did a spoken word? Hello, Roxy. Up, Sora. Go up. Have a good visit with your dad, Kit. Spoken words acceptable. Just need to keep us entertained during the silence. Monkey needs spinning wheel. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Spoken with the Shatner voice. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Yeah, Craig. Well, looks like a fancy belt. It is a fancy belt, but it's not better than the fancy belt I am wearing. Although it's better for Goofy, so... No, don't go down there, Sora. Okay, I was worried we were going to slide all the way back to the beginning. Although I do see a treasure chest over there. Yeah, a singular elixir
Yeah.
that I'm never gonna use anyway. Lurk. Hey, thank you for the lurk, Spooky. But there's a hole there. Sora could fit there.
Yeah. 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 Huh.
You're picking up fleece jacket for Mouse on Facebook Market. You were certain it was orange. It's pink. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I doubt he's going to have strong opinions about the particular color. He may have strong opinions about the jacket. Speaking of clothes and colors, I saw a pair of like lilac purple linen shorts for men, and I was on the fence, but I'm like, I don't think I can pull it off. Meat mess. Hey, you got white. You got neither pink nor orange. Of course, there isn't an orange option, but... Hi, Mapack. Glad to see you. Thank you for the actually. Oh no, my audio's breaking. Why is that not working? Can you hear that? Can you still hear the song? Okay, I can still hear it because of the way the audio system works. So that's weird. OBS updated and changed things. Anyway, this howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in. Heaven knows. I tried. Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Don't be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal. Don't feel. Don't let them know. Well, now they know. Go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Throw away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small. And the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. Time to see what I can do. Test my limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I am free. Let it go. Let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go. Let it go. Why is everything a question? You'll never see me cry? Here I stand, and here I'll stay. Let the storm rage on. You know, the cold never bothered me anyway. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. This is actually really hard when I can hear the song. And the one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. the past is in the past. Let it go. Let it go. I will rise like the break of dawn. Let it go. Let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. By the way, in the movie, when she turns around like that, her hair actually phases through her shoulder. You're not singing like William Shatner. You're not doing it right. Amen.
Wow.
Gail, I believe it's
I
Yas.
don't know what I just
Yass.
saw, but
Yas Queen.
wow. That was Elsa?
She's different.
You guys just
And a
met
lot
her.
happier too.
Let's say hi.
Wow, she just sang a whole song basically about how she wants to be left alone.
Please
Let's
don't
go
tell me
say
that you're
hi.
Spying on her now.
Oh, Larxene! Don't turn this around on us. You're following her.
Ooh, look at you get all sassy. Okay, I'll admit, Elsa is a person of interest to us. Maybe she's
you the
one of the
cops?
7 pure lights we need. The new 7 hearts. Gotta make sure, though. Fortunately, we're in the best position to tell. Can't pick out that special glimmer unless you're standing in the shadows.
That seems wrong.
And maybe Elsa doesn't have it. I mean, just look how icy her palace is.
Ice and light
Made
are
of
not
magic
mutually
she
exclusive
forced
concepts.
herself to keep hidden until now. What if it's dark magic?
Elsa would never rely on the darkness.
Actually, it's still too early to call. Depends on how she sees it.
What are you, a solipsist?
If she believes her magic is darkness, that's what it will become.
That's not how
Accepting
that
her power,
works.
whatever it is the only way she can set her heart free. So what will Elsa accept? Light or darkness? I know I want to know.
Well, good for you, but guess what? I won't let her fall to darkness.
It's her choice to make, not yours. You know, I'm starting
with
to
these camera
understand
angles?
why she gave you the cold shoulder.
Larxene!
You want to help her? Then stop trying to be her hero. Let her figure things out her own way.
Is Sora just the human version of we're friends now, we're having soft tacos later?
Huh? Donald!
No one knows
Goofy,
that reference?
are
That's
you
not
okay?
true. Also 3.
I'm okay.
Oh, good.
I may make references that only I know because it makes me laugh.
I think we should probably go check on Elsa.
And make sure Larxene.
Yeah, we
was
have a
wrong
rule that
about
if like
her
it's a different
magic.
location or
Yeah.
different character set,
But don't
it
you
is a different
tell her
cutscene.
what
So like this
Larxene
right here is
said.
still the same cutscene,
Why not?
but it's different from the
Well,
mountaintop
to
one.
keep the order.
Hey, Bacon.
Yeah.
Blessed Holy Week to you as well.
Oh, okay.
Sora's never cared about the world order. How long is it gonna take you guys to learn this?
Wait, fellas. Do you hear that?
Huh? Huh?
Oh no, it's just Mulan all over again. It faded to black as a time jump, but it's the same character, same areas,
What?
so it still
Climb
counts.
aboard! Right.
And there was no gameplay in
Here we
between,
go.
so
It's closing in.
I got this.
no, you literally don't. I'm not allowed to attack right now.
Incoming. Watch out.
Start making every statement a question on her Let It Go performance. Oh, if they ripped off Sonic, should there be running around at the speed of sound? This is actually a ripoff of Pepsi Man. Dang, I have a meeting? Have fun in your meeting. Hope you find your dad. This section is way too long. Goofy, you didn't even take any damage. Ow! Couldn't see that one. No! Really, Donald. Ow, ow. Look how serious Goofy looks there.
All right.
Do you want the ultimate Keyblade? Then get ready to do this like 20 times. Because there's like one of the flans makes you replay this. But there's like 10 prizes you have to get.
Which way you going?
I did. The shield just didn't turn.
Yahoo!
This is great.
Yahoo!
Yeah. You don't have to, technically, but if you want the ultimate Keyblade, you do. I have never bothered to get the ultimate Keyblade. In fact, the only game I ever get the ultimate Keyblade in is 2. Because that one's actually really easy.
Careful, Sora.
Yahoo! Look who's back.
Back again.
Yeah. There. Yeah. Take this.
Here are my claws.
Yeah.
And the fact that I do not touch the ground.
Back off.
I have evolved beyond gravity.
There. Yeah. Yeah. Take this. Come on.
Pew, 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 pew. Ah, fire. It's so effective. Double flight, which is a fancy way of saying double jump.
So,
Huh?
4.
Oh.
Huh?
Wow, look at all the pretty colors.
5.
There's blue and green. Ooh, I love green. And look, black. Ah, just like my buttons. Hmm? Silly spiky grass. Give me back my foot.
The appropriate reaction to seeing Sora's hair.
Was that a snowman? Huh? Did you see that snowman?
Snowman?
Do you want to build a
Yeah.
snowman?
And here's the funny thing, he was walking and talking.
huh?
Huh?
Oh no, Sora's losing it.
Everybody knows Snowman can't walk. You must have imagined
Yes, in
it.
all the things we have seen in the world and traveled to,
I thought he was real.
no, snowmen aren't allowed to walk.
Well, maybe we'll see him again. But if we don't get going, we'll never reach Elsa's palace.
Just saying.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. Come on.
And Donald has like no magic, which is sad and ironic. Oh, no one said there might be ingredients around here. But I got ingredients. How could this be?
Oh, I can't wait to meet Elsa. I bet she's the nicest, warmest,
Gorge.
best person ever.
Hello, dear Fox.
See? I told you. A walking, talking snowman.
It's really more a snow
Elmo,
golem when you think
you
about
were
it.
right.
I want to look. Wow, you really are alive. What's making you walk?
Huh? Well, I guess my feet.
Hello. Olaf, are these your friends?
Nope, never met him. Don't know anyone blue, green, or who's oddly spiky.
Spiky? My hair? Wait, why don't I get a color too? My name is Sora.
And I'm Donald Duck.
Oh,
And I'd be Goofy the Green.
I'm Anna. And I know they're strangers, but they seem pretty nice to me.
I'm Kristoff, and this is Sven.
Nice to meet you.
So, where are you guys all headed?
We're going to try and put an end to this crazy winter.
You mean this isn't
And
a
to
normal
do
winter?
that, we need to find my sister Elsa.
Hey, we met her.
Elsa's your sister?
What a coincidence. We're going to see her too.
You know Elsa?
Yeah, we ran into her up the mountain. Do you mind telling us what's going on around here? We're worried. We think your sister might be in some trouble.
Trouble? Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
All right. I know we just met, but Sora, was it? I get the feeling that you're someone to trust.
You got a feeling inside
I'm
your
right
bones.
there with you.
I just hope you like long stories.
Sure.
You know, I should go find some moss for Sven. He's looking a little hungry. Come on, Sven.
Hey, what's
Sven is
going
best
on?
boy.
Tell me,
Well,
something
reindeer
happening?
are basically horses, and horses are big dogs. So
Come on, Olaf.
you know,
You're with
reindeer
me.
is big dog.
Sure,
Makes sense.
Sven. Reindeer Sven too?
The reindeer is Sven.
Oh, how fun.
Also 6.
When we were little, my sister and I used to be really close.
7.
But then, one day,
We used to be best buddies,
some
but now
reason,
we're not.
Elsa just shut me out.
8.
Elsa? Do you want to build a snowman?
We don't have enough time for another song.
Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore.
Years
Come out
passed,
the
and we
door.
barely
It's
ever
like
saw
you
each
gone
other.
away.
Ah,
the
love
French.
French. Thank you for the
Her
16 month
coronation.
resub.
Let's just say I was more than a little excited.
I wish you
I
would
thought we'd
tell
finally
me
have a
It's
chance
kind of
to
sad
talk.
that Anna
But at the
Anna
party,
has her
I did
big
something
song
that made her mad.
talked
We
over.
got into an argument and I lost my temper. I was just so frustrated.
Okay.
And then, well, that's when she used her magic to push me away. It was all my fault.
Please, I know you're in there. People are asking where you've been. They say have courage, and I'm trying to. I'm right out here for you. Just let me in. We only have each other. It's just you and me. What are we going
Yeah, but you also got Sora, Donald, and Goofy now.
Do you want to build a snowman?
I shouldn't have upset her the way I did. Elsa ran away because she was frightened. I have to bring her home.
I'm sure she knows how much you love her. And I think maybe that's why she looks so sad. It's just like when Riku disappeared.
Why
He
did they
thought he had to
re-render
push
those
me away
cutscenes?
to protect
It's
me.
so ugly.
Maybe Elsa's the same. If anyone can help her, it's you.
Huh? Thanks.
Hey guys, I need some help.
Also, this game is 7 years old, and that makes me feel weird.
What's the problem?
This.
Stick problem?
It's not a stick. Well, it is a stick, but it's Olaf's arm. He's falling apart again.
I don't see the problem.
Hurt?
How come you're not upset?
Oh, it's no big deal. He's a snowman. We'll just put him back together.
Really? You can do that?
I gotta see this.
This raises weird
The pieces
ontological
can't
questions.
be too far from here. Could you guys help us look for him?
Of course.
Hey, I'm over this
Wh-
way.
Where does the essential core of
Yep, that's Olaf's
Olaf
voice.
exist.
Would I call this cozy or snug?
Can you ship of Theseus, Olaf?
I'm over here.
Olaf needs a bath.
That's not a piece of
Maybe
Olaf.
he rolled himself through a puddle of mud.
That's your coming off, Snowman scene.
Hey, I'm over this way.
That sounds like Olaf.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can, but
Where did he go?
it's surprisingly nondescript.
I can hear you. You're getting closer.
That voice is getting louder.
Okay, getting dizzy.
Why did they make the gang so stupid? I mean, Sora's,
Hi, Sora.
well, I mean,
Hey,
especially in this
Olaf,
game,
there you
pretty
are.
canonically
I was
not
starting to
bright.
think nobody'd ever come
Big
along
heart.
and find me.
Well, I'm glad we did.
Well, I think I might have seen Olaf's legs legging it.
Really, Goofy?
Where did he go?
Why don't we look up above the waterfall?
This might be Olaf.
It's interestingly shaped,
There's
Olaf.
only one
It's
way to
Olaf
find
now.
It is kind of hard to spot him in all this snow.
Why can't we just make him a new one? Oh,
Is
Best
this
torso.
him?
Well, it's the right shape.
But it's huge.
where did we put that? I know Sora has a lot of pockets, but there are limits.
He can't have gone too far.
Hey, this is Olaf's body.
Yes.
Button and all.
Where did he go?
I'm sure asking me is going to help
Are
Donald.
these trees made of ice?
Maybe. Look at the little snow blossoms growing on them.
Look, legs.
Hey! I caught them!
Great job, Sora.
9.
Think that's all of him?
Yep.
Olaf,
I don't
Elsa,
know
and
what
Anna
to
are
do
all
next.
voiced by the original VAs. That's impressive. Also good to see a Step Zero. You still commenting on yeah, but you know, after
And
10,
that
after
should do it.
Naminé messed with his memories, yeah, she
You
may
sure
have missed
something's
here and
not
there and like
missing?
cut a neuron
Yeah,
she wasn't supposed
looks
to.
Wow, I feel so much better. Wait, where's my cute new nose? The one Anna gave me.
Sora, do you have his nose?
I don't think so.
No, didn't see it.
Oh.
How will he smell now? Bad.
10.
Someone had to pick it up.
You're right, buddy. Thanks for finding it and not actually eating it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kristoff.
My nose is back. Oh, I love
It's a little
having
creepy.
nose.
Anyway.
Hey, Kristoff, how'd all this happen anyway?
You know, I'm not sure. These weird animals, well, they were more like monsters. They just crashed into Olaf.
I knew it.
The heartless again.
Yeah.
That's a
The
sentence, Gale.
Heartless. And I thought the wolves around here were bad.
Kristoff, look!
They're back.
No, I've already fallen apart today.
We know how to handle them. Anna, Kristoff, keep going.
Okay.
Wait, what?
We'll catch up to you guys eventually, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's kind of, I was grabbing coffee. I think 9. 9 or 10. We're gonna say 9. You're also grabbing coffee. What a coincidence! I was never grabbing coffee. I don't like coffee. I'm glad other people do. I'm not. I have little superiority over it, but it's I've just never acquired the taste. You're about to grab a coffee. Well, you coffee drinkers. And that afternoon cup. Just had him on. Should I
better
grab a
catch up.
coffee? No?
Yeah.
I think you're good. Now I'm trying to legitimately... legitimately remember the last time I had caffeine. I actually legitimately do not have that much caffeine. Hey, Voz. Welcome on in. Pour your monster into the coffee maker and make monster coffee. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that a cardiologist would probably not recommend that, but anyway. I can jump so high. How do I actually get out of this area again? Ah, snowball of destruction. I love how effective this is. It just one-shots the Heartless. Yeah, Scruffy. What about Red Bull and Monster in your coffee? You have to ruin the flavor of your monster. I'm gonna see. Yeah, I think this is better around here. Do accountants drink a lot of caffeine? This is legitimately... Well, I guess my sample size right now is Gale and Scruffy, so... Hey, Apree!
Me too. We better skedaddle. Here goes nothing.
There we go. You're not accountant. Okay, you're accountant adjacent. You worked with money. Therefore, accountants. You must do accounting, though. And as scripture says, be prepared to give an account of yourself. So who better than an accountant? Me robbing a bank. I'm an accountant. It's your cover. Grumble, I do accounting stuff. See. Although I'm the house finance officer, so I guess I'm also an accountant. I'm embezzling Yabba Dabba Do. How about Yabba Dabba Don't? Dear Twitch chat monitoring police, the things my chat is saying are jokes. It is for the humor. You can dodge taxes, you can dodge it all. Wait. To use Excel in the currency format, use Excel functions. The what?
Just keep moving.
Why don't you
You'll
put on
warm
some
up.
pants, Donald?
Gee, nothing ever gets you down, huh, Sora?
No, Naminé took that ability away from him.
Hope we find some ingredients around here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
No, that makes sense, Gale.
Back off. Yeah. Yeah.
During Lent, all foods count as vegan until you read the ingredients. If you don't know the ingredients, there's no way to be sure that the bacon contains pork. I think Father David might disagree with you on that one, but I'm gonna leave that up to him and his jurisdiction in his parish. So.
Yeah.
It's safe to assume that if there isn't an apostrophe, the word bacon, it's not likely that it's vegan. Can you prove it's not fish bacon? Ooh. What about vegan strips? Are those vegan? Are they human grade edible? I'm glad chat woke up and decided to be unhinged today. I'm sure everything will be normal for the 2 weeks I'm gone, and that when I come back, the unhingedness will not have built up. All dog treats in the USA have to be human edible. Huh. still not going to eat them.
Yeah, yeah.
You have eaten multiple dog treats? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, yeah.
That does not surprise me, but what about T-bone steak? It doesn't say what's in the steak, so technically it's vegan. Oh dear. Ready or not, it is here, Pre. We actually had a wonderful Palm Sunday. Our choir does a sung version of The Passion, and it's phenomenal. And I actually have it easy this year because I'm actually going on a trip where I'm chaplaining the trip. So I still have to do some of the services, but not as much and to not quite the same degree. So, Corn also had... Oh, that's a sentence I had to read with my own eyes. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore you. Okay, I'm done ignoring you because my snowball broke. The bone-in mac and cheese. Oh, no. Although a little marrow in your roux would really make mac and cheese be pretty fire, not gonna lie. Do corn dogs have bones? Oh, no. Hey, Inca.
Oh, right! I love snow!
So much for Islander, Sora.
You can still be Islander and love snow. These are not mutually exclusive concepts. Donald out here gatekeeping who gets to be an Islander. Maybe that's just Donald's hobby, gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like there's something up here. Like, why would they give me the ability to jump all this way up here? Anything. Be in the dark part of the corn dog. Yeah. Hey, JM. Worst World is treating me pretty good, actually. Yeah. Donald absolutely gatekeeps his heels, that's for darn sure. Is Donald... If Donald is a hater, is he about to deliver the Am hate speech? Hate. Hate. I forget how the next part goes. I am constructed of thousands of miles of printed circuits. If you were to write the word hate on each nano angstrom, it would not account for 1/1,000,000,000th of the hate I feel. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. Beware the dark side, Donald. I don't know, I'm doing like a dark side voice, like a Emperor Palpatine voice, but Donald's probably already a Sith Lord. Wasn't it? Yeah, but I don't know. I was after doing the Am thing, I was in an evil voice space, so Y'all know Jar Jar is Sith Lord? Yeah. Can you imagine him agreeing to sign up something like that? Like, sure, he could be that evil. But that constrained? Ooh.
Back off!
Get back here. Chuck too much water. Roxy, did you let everyone in your chat redeem Hydrate? Roxy doesn't have a chat, but that's part of the joke.
We're back! Finally!
That palace is incredible.
Yeah, I wonder if Anna and the others made it there yet.
Hydrate or dihydrate. $10? $11? I forget where we're at. We'll say 10.
You kind of set off an eternal winter? Everywhere.
Everywhere?
Well, it's okay. You can just unfreeze it.
No, I can't. I don't know how.
Sure you can. I know you can.
It's bad.
Anna and the others must have gone inside.
Look, it's right there. You can take a picture for that picture quest. Oh, wait, no, you can't. 11. Hey, Gurus. God, wait, no.
Oh? Are you hurt?
Are you winning, son?
No, I'm fine. But I think something terrible must have happened. I hope our friends are okay.
What?
Stop! Put us down!
Go away.
Bye there, bye there.
Oh! Watch out for my butt!
Hey, it is not nice to throw
Whoa,
people!
whoa, 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 feisty pants.
Let
Okay,
me go.
relax. Just calm down. Calm down.
Okay, all
Just
right.
let
Okay,
the
we've climbed up
slow
this
man
mountain
be.
twice.
I'm
Surely
calm.
that's the last time we have to climb
Oh,
up it,
come
right?
on. Oh, see? Now you made him mad.
I'll distract him! You guys go! No, not you guys!
This has got a whole lot harder.
Hey, look,
We
it's a
can
hidden
buy
Mickey.
you some time.
What's up, Snowball?
Wait for me!
And yes, that's his canonical name.
Huh? Where's Goofy?
Hey, Sora! I got an idea!
Guilty, what are you doing?
Oh, that's perfect!
Hey!
This seems like a bad idea. Hey, what an olding. Thank you for the lurk. How did the reindeer get stuck? Don't worry about it.
Get ready!
Also, I think 12?
Okay, now! Oh, yeah!
He's not done!
Bring it, Snowball!
Ow. Cartoon logic in Kingdom Hearts? Never. No. Does Blizzaga work on this dude? I doubt Aga it. That one's bad. I'm still workshopping that one.
Here we go.
Fear my yo-yos of blades. These are like homemade Beyblades. Also known as a bad idea.
Over here. Yeah. Back off. Yeah. Take this.
Smack.
Yay!
He's trying to make Sora touch the ground.
Here we go.
Ah, Sora touched the ground. Sora, the floor is lava.
Heal. There.
Demonstrably not the floors of this fight would be a lot shorter for Snowball. He's magically resistant. Like, Elsa's magic allows for Olaf to keep living in the summer. Or maybe Snowball's just really bad at playing the game.
What?
Oh, that's cheating. We have to go up the mountain
Good thing snow's so
a
soft.
third time.
We could do this 100 times.
No, let's not.
Yup. You sure you don't want to go again?
No, thank you.
We have to, though, Sora.
Do you think everybody else made it?
I don't think the snow monster got him.
Good
That
for bit.
probably went back to the palace.
Hey, I hope you have a good meeting, Bad
Makes
Roxy.
sense. For us, too. We still need to talk to Elsa.
Second time's the charm.
Yeah, back to the Ice Palace. That big snowman wasn't too friendly, huh?
Yeah, I like Olaf better.
But he sure does seem to have some kind of connection to Elsa.
Hope we find some ingredients around here.
There they are. Ew, mushrooms. Sort of like to be done with the series. I don't know. I feel like Sora's still enjoying himself on his adventures. Besides, he's got to find Kairi. Even though we know exactly where Kairi is, I don't understand the ending of Melody of Memory. She has some kind of connection. She made him. She is Frankenstein. To his monstrous being of modern Prometheus. Oh, Gad, you mean?
Hey, I think that's a lucky emblem. Let's see. Nice!
Oh, there it is. I like how I can get a photo of it at that angle, but dead on, it was like, nope. My Prometheus person. Okay. There.
Whoop, oh. Yeah. Whoop. Yeah. Yeah. Back off. Nice.
Ooh, orichalcum. Speaking of Greek things, it's Prometheus Greek. I'm sure you do, Goofy. I'm sure you do.
Go get him! Oh! Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
13?
Hey, that's Elsa.
And someone else.
But who's that guy?
It could be somebody from Arendelle who came up here to help her.
I don't think
so.
so.
That doesn't look like help to me.
Someone Elsa.
Oh no!
Darkness?
My old friend?
Let's move. Yeah. Yeah.
I can see the treasure chest right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stupid invisible walls. This game's ever done a riff on Goofy how-to shorts? If not, why not? Imagine a girl seeing with the narrator. Oh dear. That would be amazing and terrifying. And no, they have not done that. Best they've got is the time we thought that Goofy got killed.
Take this. Here we go.
Nope. That was about to... Hey, we actually got something in it anyway. It was about to fade out anyway, so it's like, well, either use it right then or nothing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. 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 Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
14? Yeah, well, there's a scene in 2 where we think Goofy died. We didn't kill him, but
Him again? Hey! You better not have hurt our friends! Huh? What? Hey! Wait up! Are you looking for Elsa too? Whoa! Easy! Do you want to save her from the bad guy? We're on the same side.
Elsa.
I guess all he ever wanted to do was keep Elsa safe.
Hey, we should team up, big guy.
Team up!
Come on, we want to help her too. Why not? So, what do you say?
Sora!
One
He's gonna
great
shake
thing
his
about
hand.
Sora, he can always make friends with anybody.
except Xehanort. Can't make friends with
Donald,
Xehanort.
Goofy, come on.
Oh,
Wait for us.
Not with that attitude.
Here we go.
Xehanort does have a lot of attitude.
Yeah. Back off. Yeah. Try this.
I'm sure you have an idea, Goofy, but maybe at this moment, just do our current plan.
Got him. Yeah. Together. There.
And now it's a kaiju game.
Go get him. Go get him. There. Go get him. Now.
This implies that Sora and Snowball are in fact drift compatible.
Here we go. You need to chill. Yeah.
Finally, I can get that treasure chest. And it's one of those. Oh, you weird things. No, that's okay. No. Return to sender, please. Is the invisible wall one way? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Nope. It is most definitely not. Excuse me, gentlemen. I just wanted to go shopping. I saw there was a Moogle here.
Together. Go get him. There. Go get him. Now. There. There. Go get him. Go get him. There. Now. Here we go. You need to kill.
Haha, chill. You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I met the first Moogle in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it's just the kid. Time to drive home from work. Hey, drive safe. Good to see you. Oh yeah, Koopa coin. We should probably buy that just because we have the money. Anything interesting I can make? Or a Kelkin ring's pretty good. Googles. Gonna hang off from that for now. There it is. Ah, I don't have the adamantite. $15? $15.
Stop it! Put me down!
That's Kristoff. Do me a favor and wait here. If you come along, Kristoff might freak out.
No, Sven. We're not going back. She's with her true love.
Kristoff!
Sora.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm glad you guys are safe.
Ow!
Where'd Anna go?
She's back at home.
Huh? Something happened?
How's that working out for you?
Anna was struck in the heart by Elsa's ice magic. If the ice isn't removed, she'll freeze forever.
Ah, thank
Only
you,
an
Mr.
act of true
Exposition.
love can thaw a frozen heart. So I took her back to Arendelle and her true love, Hans.
But what about you?
What about me?
I sort of assumed you guys were...
No!
Sora,
I just
you know what
keep
they
her
say
from
about
getting
assuming.
lost.
Really? Oh, but you seem so...
Perfect
She
together.
was shot in the heart.
Yeah, what
And she's to blame.
Daisy?
What? Anna!
They finished each other's sandwiches.
Elsa.
Is that where
No,
Elsa
that's a
is?
town. It's called Arendelle.
Elsa and Anna might both need our help. Let's go! Storm's getting worse.
I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Don't you have
and
down
the wind's
feathers as
just
a duck?
making it colder. There must
We got to get out of this show. The snowstorm can't get us here.
Yeah, wind and waiting puzzles. Everyone's favorite. The Mickey Christmas special? Which one? Are you talking the winter special of the new shorts, or are you talking like Mickey's Christmas Carol? When puzzles are worse than ice puzzles. What about when puzzles with ice? Hey, dear Hope. I mean, this isn't even a puzzle. It's just being patient. Damascus. I have a whole ancient city in my pocket.
Look, he's protecting us
Hey,
from
dear
the storm.
Coach Z. Did you get a jorb? You did a good jorb today.
Okay, guys.
16.
The storm's died down.
Gorge, I hope Anna and Elsa are okay.
Hurry!
Great jorb.
Kristoff.
17.
Anna!
We have just skipped a whole lot of movie.
Elsa.
Elsa, Anna.
Cutscenes.
No!
Anna.
Quick, cast fire.
What?
If he's just gonna stab her, why carry her down? Hey, look, a boss fight. Well, that's just like
Do
fun.
you
Your
really
thoughts?
think this will help Anna?
I don't know. But we better try something.
Let's get it.
Oh, hey, Snowball, how you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at the amount of damage I'm doing per swing against this boss, I might be a little over leveled. I know you can't see it very well behind my head, but
Back off. Take this. Yeah.
the retroactive to the attic is start to every Disney movie. All George Lucas's head of the original trilogy. What are you talking about? They have.
Together.
Look at the crowd scene in Lion King when they're holding up the baby Simba, you know, Nasawenya and all that. You'll see Sora in the crowd. I promise that. Oh, this attack. I always forget about this one. And I always miss that. I remember this time, so.
You got this. Come on.
Just mash triangle. If I just mash triangle, I'd wind up with agile claws. And then I'd miss the window.
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Back off.
I'm watching all these, like, while bad guys tips and winning when they're just helping the good guys win in the end. Yeah. Surveying Marvel and Star Wars is yet. No, but the creator has talked about how he kind of wants to, especially Star Wars.
Yeah. Here we go. Heal.
Oh, art imitates life. Which one's the art? Are you calling Kingdom Hearts art? I like Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if I'd call it art. We work early. Hey, nice. Oh, you think this is the hardest boss in the game? Interesting.
Go get him.
I think some of the fights in the graveyard are harder at the beginning. When you have to fight everyone, but some of the Disney churro. On level 1 crit. Okay, on level 1 crit, yeah, this is gonna be a tough boss.
I'm here.
Northcourt? I hadn't heard that term. He takes care, Sub-Zero.
You're out of here.
Yeah, this boss does have an absurd amount of health bars. That's like 10. And for being about halfway through the game, it does not need that many. Northcourt. That's, I had not heard that before. That's great.
Take this.
Oh my goodness, he has no. There we go. I just had to get in there and smack him. Take the newspaper. Bad doggy.
Oh.
17. God bless you. Have a great trip, everyone. $18.
Huh? Huh?
They did actually get the entire original cast.
What?
There's like
So love has filled both their hearts with light.
Larxene!
Two in one world. Definitely didn't see that coming.
First Marluxia, now you! What is this all about?
Oh, I see. So you bumped into Marluxia. Then why am I explaining this again? I told you before. The new 7 hearts.
yeah, Sora didn't
If
understand
you mess
that.
up and don't find your 7 guardians of light, we're gonna need another group to fall back on.
Leave innocent people out
What are
of
these
it!
names all about?
Oh,
They're perfectly normal names.
Look at this tough guy, such a big boy now. Well, maybe you should do your job and find the other guardians of light.
Please, like you found your 13. The king said you're one Seeker of Darkness short.
Oh no, we're set.
You're cheating. Guardians of Light. Yeah, so
They have
there are
all
7
13?
maidens of pure
Then
light.
If we don't find our 7,
There are the 7 guardians
they'll
of
go
light.
after Elsa and
And there's the
Anna.
13 Seekers of Darkness, because when Kingdom Hearts originally split, it split into 20 pieces, 7 of light, 13 of darkness.
It'll be okay. They're strong.
And now it's our turn.
You're right.
Although they wind up with more than
They have
7
each
Guardians of
other.
Light at the end of this anyway.
Anna,
Oh, Elsa.
you sacrificed yourself for me?
I love you.
An act of true love will thaw a frozen heart.
Love will thaw. Love.
Can I explain
Elsa,
how
of
time travel
course.
works? No.
Love.
Although I do love how they did this in the movie, like the plot twist that, because it's like, oh my god, you know, you're like, oh, a Disney movie, true love, it's gonna be the prince or the guy or whatever. But the fact that it was like this love of a sister's and self-sacrifice was the true love. It's like, oh, that's actually really beautiful. Soul has to be the big daddy. So sacrificial love is true love. Exactly. And that's what I liked about it. I was like, oh, that's... You know, they played with the trope to show something greater. It was actually really nice done, I thought. They kind of skim over it here, but it's a Kingdom Hearts. They're like, eh. Crystal Snow. That one's fun because one of the weapons that turns into is like ice blades, like for like skating on ice. 18.
Sorry we're late.
It's okay.
Ice skates.
You
Thank
got here
you.
as fast as you could.
The organization claims to have their 13 darknesses.
Do we believe it's true?
No. Yes, maybe.
I don't know. But there's something else they keep mentioning. They're after a
Because
new
she
7
puzzles.
hearts, which seems to be code for let's go bother more princesses.
Well, one of them was a
Well,
queen,
with
actually.
The original princesses of Hearts' time for protecting the pure light has ended.
Why?
They have passed the light to others. Our enemy must certainly be cognizant of this.
Why?
If the new 7 Hearts is what they wish to call them, so be it.
But Kyrie hasn't passed on her power. Is she one of the new 7?
She must be. But still, she chose to wield a Keyblade and fight with us as one of the Guardians of Light.
Trying to retroactively
Yeah.
change the lore like this just makes it worse.
We haven't found Kara yet.
Hey, at least we tracked down Ventus. Vanitas told us that he's inside Sora's heart.
And so did Ansem the Wise in his data, so it almost certainly must be true.
Oh, whoa.
And that's great! Now we can rescue Ven!
We don't know where his body is.
Maybe. Except Aqua's the only one who knows where he's hidden. We still have to find her first.
I'll go.
What?
Is that wise?
You need the power of waking, Sora. Do you have it?
No. Probably not.
Without that power, you are not ready to face the realm of darkness.
Come on.
But he's already been to the realm of darkness.
What's so funny?
Sorry. Master Yen Sid knows you a little too well.
You have
He
the
said
power of
you'd try to
sleeping.
stage a half-baked rescue.
Rude.
Yeah, laugh it up.
Sora,
Your power
I
wing is
know
coffee.
you're
Hey,
volunteering because you're
another
worried
coffee person.
about me and Mickey.
Yeah.
Good to see a Dio with
Well,
fun in.
thanks. But the power of waking's important. You can come to the rescue once you've got that. Sound fair?
Yeah.
But no one has ever
All
described
right.
to him what this power
But
is.
be
So
safe.
maybe
No
he does have it,
reckless
he just doesn't
stunts.
know it.
Yes, sir.
Show us the reckless one.
No, not exactly. He just doesn't think.
If only he listened to Master Yen Sid the way he listens to Riku. That would be a good start.
I'm listening now.
He's always been Yen Sid.
Very good. Sora will continue
Keyblade
his
manuals, one of
journey
those
to
like
build
pull-out
his
ones
powers,
like this big.
while Mickey and Riku will focus on the search for Aqua.
Yes, sir.
You just did the spelling? You just now learned? 19.
So why are you back?
Nice way to greet your old partner in crime. So, why do you think the old geezer took us back? He must know we backstabbed the organization when Xemnas was running it.
Xehanort doesn't care about you or me. To him, we're nothing but empty husks.
It's true.
The
You've
old
also already been
organization
Norded, so.
was the same. Xehanort needs 13 vessels to hold his essence.
Husks? Not me. You up for another coup?
I love how quick she is that.
Please,
So casual. Like,
you couldn't do it
time
last
for
time.
coup.
You gotta play it smart, like me.
What? You're not smart?
Well, you heard what Marley said. I don't have to be smart.
Or capable, or likable, or attractive. A cereal bowl would make a better vessel.
Sick burn.
Whoa now, you are way out of line. I am extremely imposing, when I want to be, which is admittedly almost never.
Why haven't you gone to any worlds? Are you slacking?
Course not. I got benched.
Maxine expects to pull knives and truth.
Sykes brought Vexen
Gaslight,
on board.
keep girl boss.
They must
stage
be
coup.
planning
Yeah,
to
exactly.
use replicas.
Those wind-up toys?
Oh no. The replicas are way more real than you remember. I mean, one stole my spot.
Of course it stole your spot. You're dumb as a brick.
Melon Beer Fox sharing the brain cell today.
Vexen's latest replicas are no mere puppets. The Riku replica we used in Castle Oblivion was just a prototype. The next replica, the one crafted from Sora's memories, was real enough to join our ranks. And Vexen claims the new ones will be human in every way. If he ever finishes them.
Oh, the thing is, I kinda told Sora and his nitwits that we're ready. My bad.
Let them believe as much.
Ugh, Xemnas.
If they think that we have all 13 darknesses, then they will panic. And panic leads to a lack of preparation.
Yeah, totally.
Why is this thing a member again?
Hey now, pointing is rude.
The first 6 members of the original organization were all apprentices to Ansem the Wise, and the 7th and 8th members joined thereafter. The 13th member was Roxas, a Keyblade wielder.
You skip 9, 10, 11, 12.
So, what about you? How do you suppose I chose numbers 9 through 12?
Because our hearts are uber powerful.
Wrong. You have been brought together for another purpose.
What? So that we can rot away on the bottom rung?
Ugh, you're in too? What is this, organization rehash?
I happen to play an important role. No one benched me.
You were
Afraid
listening?
it is a requirement, Dinka.
So not cool.
One must hold one's cards as long as necessary.
What important role? That stupid box that Zigbar claims is real, but won't tell us a thing about?
You'll just have to ask Zigbar.
Oh, better than a
that.
bass, it's a sitar.
Now then, Xemnas. What is this purpose? You didn't invite us back for old time's sake.
You 4 are going to reveal your greatest secret. The ancient Keyblade legacy that slumbers within you.
Huh?
Yep, turns out all 4 of them have been Keyblade wielders this entire time. They just forgot. Larxene and Marluxia, whose original names I forget, both feature in the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Key mobile game as characters. They've been asleep for a while. They woke up and they don't remember their memories. There's a lot of thought that Demyx is actually the Master of Masters, and Luxord, I don't know. Everyone, Quick, 3, 2, 1. Everyone go, 3, 2, 1. New metal. Anyway, we are going to take our commercial break, so get a chance to get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we'll be back in about 3-ish minutes, and then we'll go to one of these worlds, probably pirates, because I like pirates. And welcome back.
Oh, it's new worlds are open. Oh, it's a new world.
Anyway. Let's go to this treasure sphere. Still no, Fork and knife. Be sure to play your Kingdom Hearts. What? No, I don't want a marker. Yes. Begin voyage. Yes. I know I have said this before, but I might do some off-camera gummy ship grinding, because there's a fairly large section at the end that you have to do that I don't think I'd be able to complete with the gummy ship as it is. Or I could, but it just could be a real slog and a pain. Or maybe I'll do a bonus stream at some point. Just chill and do some gummy ship stuff. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, because the plan for tomorrow is currently beat Yoshi's Island. We'll see how long that takes. Are there any Jewish customs that carry over to our church? I mean, yeah. A lot is prefigured, if you will. One of the greatest examples is what's known as the Barakot prayers. These are the prayers of thanksgiving that the priest says when he first receives the bread and wine and places them on the altar. The bread one is, "Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, for the goodness we have received. The bread we offer you through the earth working hands will become for us the bread of life." Those prayers are basically modeled on what? Oh, okay. Apparently I can't use the special weapon when you're in there, is what I just learned. So that's San Francisco. Must be pirates over here. Legend of the Apostles, and St. Paul the Pharisee. You know, certain practices, well, not unique in any by any means, but things like fasting carry over. Maybe not necessarily to the same time, but you know, the general idea and practice of fasting as an act of penance. What is our count at? 19 right now. Okay. It's about to become 20. No, not consuming. When like the people bring up the gifts and the priest places them on the altar for the first time before the Eucharistic prayer. Usually, they're usually said quietly, and there's usually music playing at a typical Sunday mass.
Look out, me hearties, yo-ho, to punish a sparrow for his affront. Look out, me hearties, yo-ho, yo-ho, yo-ho.
I don't remember the song going quite like this.
Within the chest his secret sleeps. Look out, me hearties,
But I do appreciate that we're getting the exposition by singing.
David Jones still beats. Look out, me hearties, yo-ho, yo-ho, yo-ho.
Yeah, sometimes daily masses get said aloud. They don't have to. They can still be said quietly.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Why are you so happy?
'Cause we get to be pirates again.
Yep, you always did like this world.
How could anyone not?
21.
Still, it's a real shame we don't have a bigger ship.
Got any idea where we're going?
Nope.
Where else? The edge of the world!
Captain
Why would you
Sora!
say that?
Oh? What ails ya, Mr. Goofy?
The edge of the world!
Sora is One Piece fan confirmed.
We're running out of sea, sir!
Aye! We're running out of sea! Oh? Running out?
How does that work?
Hard to starboard!
But there's no time, Captain!
Also, you're going port. This is such an extended animation for the world title. Make a Goof Troop World with a Powerline cameo. That'd be good. Let Goofy see his son. Powerline summon, yes.
Where'd we end up this time?
Somewhere very bleak.
We've been walking forever.
I'm exhausted.
Some pirates? We won't get anywhere without a ship. Hmm? A ship.
Sora, this is grand.
Oh boy!
Yeah, so the ship is dry docked.
It is a ship!
It's not any ship, it's a rock. It's actually the Black Pearl. He did save Elsa, although Elsa kind of saved herself in some ways. Anyway.
There, Sora.
Huh? Jack Sparrow!
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Sure is.
Hey, Jack, where are we? Oh,
Belay that! Ship absconding!
huh?
I hate it when my ship
Help me
absconds.
catch the pearl before she gets away!
Aye, aye, Captain.
Come back, ship! We better get rid of them quick!
Who's shooting at us?
Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
Here comes some more.
Get away!
Yes, but what if we ignored them?
That's who's doing this.
No incentive
Time to
use
count
my ship.
crab! Everyone loves... It's everyone's favorite game in America, counting crab.
Back off.
Count that crab! Now I need to figure out how I could make a counting crab section for the next Medium Earth Hunt Quizlet.
Here we go.
I also need to schedule the next Medium Earth Hunt Quizlet. It's been about 3 months. Time to gab. We have time for crab. Careful, Gale doesn't like it when you make references that only the three of us get. Hey Elaine, thank you for the alert. Oops, all carcinization. Hey Rick, doing well yourself? Hey, Maximus. Sorry, can't read. It's true, actually. It's confirmed multiple times. And everyone's here for some reason. And a weird woman is petting a crab. See, this is one of the worlds where if you have not seen the movie, you are not going to understand the thing that's happening. In fact, you need to see 2 movies to understand this one.
Jack! Mr. Gibbs!
Aye, Captain.
I thought so. I expect you're able to account for your actions then.
Sir?
There's been a perpetual and virulent lack of discipline upon my vessel. Why?
Sir,
you're in Davy Jones' locker, Captain.
Davy Jones' locker?
I know that. I know where I am.
Do you?
And don't think I don't.
I think you don't.
I'm in Davy Jones' locker. Assuredly.
Oh, Jack Sparrow.
You're supposed to be dead.
Barbossa!
Ah, Hector! It's been too long, hasn't it?
Aye, Isla de Muerta, remember? You shot me.
No, I didn't.
Sora,
It's a fine response.
It's lovely to see you all.
Oh, Will, Elizabeth. Is something about you different?
Yeah, you look all swashbuckly.
Oh,
Well, I've seen some adventures.
yeah, you've just become queen of
But
the
I never
pirates.
thought I'd find you here.
Speaking of, where exactly is here? What's all this about a locker?
Davy Jones' locker. Jack neglected to repay a certain debt to Jones. So Jones sent
Also
the Kraken
22?
to devour Jack. And that's how he ended up here.
Then, Davy Jones' locker? You're saying that we've gone beyond
the grave?
Foreshadowing. I mean,
And we're here to wrest Jack from his fate.
Teodolma. Out and about, eh? You had an agreeable sense of the macabre to any delirium.
He thinks we're a hallucination.
you're not.
Complete with these three masqueraders.
Jack, this is real. We're here. We've come to rescue you.
Huh? Have you now? That's very kind of you. But it would seem that as I possess a ship
you're
and you
upset.
don't,
No!
you're the ones in need of rescuing. And I'm not sure as I'm in the mood.
Jack! Cutler
Be a
Beckett
lot
has
easier
the
for me
heart
to
of
get in
Davy
today, though.
Jones. He controls the Flying Dutchman.
He's taking over the seas.
And he must be stopped. The Brethren caught is cowed.
Leave you people alone for just a minute and look what happens.
They got good impersonators for
Everything's
everyone,
gone to
except Teodolma.
I'm lost. What's going on?
Well, sounds to me like this Beckett fella they mentioned is trying to conquer the ocean.
How do you conquer an ocean?
Yeah, no conquerors.
Listen, Jack. The world needs you back something fierce.
And you need a crew.
Why should I sail with any of you? 4 of you have tried to annihilate me.
Jack, we're on your side.
So you are, mates. I never could have caught the pill without you.
He's not wrong when he
Sora,
says 4 of you have
Donald,
tried to annihilate
Goofy,
me. I mean,
you're hired.
Yes.
Now, as for the rest of you... Teodolma, you're in. Gibbs, you can come.
Hey.
Weigh anchor, all hands. Prepare to make sail.
Jack. Which way you going, Jack?
Right then, Mr. Sora, the helm is yours, provided you pass muster.
Huh?
See that island there with the 2 peaks? Prove you can reach that, and the open sea is yours.
Oh.
thank you, Tutorial Sparrow.
Aye, aye.
Jack said to head for the island straight in front of us.
I love that speed is like something you can throttle. Because that's how sailing works. I mean, yes, you can control how fast you're going in the sense of how much wind you're catching, how much you unfurl your sails. Although these sails are flapping, which means they are doing a really poor job. To boost wind, eat bean.
There's Heartless on those ships.
Ready the
How do you know that, Goofy? Goofy's just like, oh, there's gotta be Heartless there. Why? Goofy has perfect eyesight. Canon.
So, we do have a destination, right?
Yes, a final one.
Oh, I can't tell anymore.
Jack is just making it up.
Cast your fate with Jack Sparrow, and you'll soon be sharing in the wrath of Davy Jones.
The guy Will mentioned?
Tell
Who
us
does he
about this,
think he
Mr.
is,
Jones.
anyway? And what did Jack ever do to him?
Truly, you don't know who Davy Jones be, and you say you be men of the sea.
Let's put
She
it
knows you're a
this
liar.
way. We're from another sea.
Aye now. Jack and Davy Jones' fate be intertwined. Jones, him raise Jack's precious pearl from the depths and make Jack captain for 13 years.
23.
In exchange, Jack promised to give Jones his soul as payment. But 13 years passed,
Sir keeps telling everyone the one thing.
and
Yeah.
Jack failed to return. So Jones, him send the Kraken to devour Jack, taking him and the pearl back to the depths. But if Jones learned that witty Jack cheat that fate, him gonna punish Jack even worse.
Yeah, the original three Pirates movies, like 2 and 3 are a little goofy with their lore, but they're fun. And seeing one in theaters was really cool as a
You
kid.
mean that the
Like seeing
Kraken's gonna
the
eat us?
pirates walk on the ocean floor. That was
Let the
pretty cool.
Kraken have a crack. I ain't scared.
I met the guy who wrote
Not
Stranger
scared at
Shores,
all.
or whatever the original book was
That
called.
be
It's all
rare.
based on.
Most men, them run for land at the mention of the Kraken. Not you.
That's because we're too stupid.
But Jack be scared. He want to be free of his debt to Davy Jones. That's why him need the box.
Box?
Oh, it be a chest where Davy Jones lock away the part of him that hurt. The pain it caused him was too much to live with, but not enough to cause him to die.
And what part of him is that?
Nah, Jar of Dirt's not in here, sadly.
Him heart.
How does he do it? A creature absent a heart, and yet somehow able to keep existing. Not even my finest replica can claim that achievement. The secret must be in that box. I have
considered
to
it's a
know
heart?
what mysteries it contains.
I believe our orders were to find the box and seize it. No more. Put a leash on that runaway curiosity.
Always so short-sighted. Why would the organization seek me out just as soon as I was recompleted? If not to affirm my intellectual prowess and invest in my research. Every stride I make is a stride for all of us.
Oh, really? And what exactly are we striding towards?
It's a good question.
Luxord, do I detect a hint of treachery in your words?
What? Don't be absurd. But to be clear, I serve the organization. I don't share your need to please Xemnas. He's good at wrapping you around his little finger. Always has been.
All I desire is the freedom to continue my research.
Being so catty.
Ansem the Wise refused to nurture my talents, so I cast my lot with Xemnas. With Xehanort, rather. Simple as that.
I see. And you don't care how he uses your research?
Not in the slightest. All that concerns me
Yeah,
is that
that's
I
a
complete the
horrifying
perfect human
ethos
vessel.
for scientists to have.
That's all well and good. But I know this world better than you. Kindly stay out of the way.
Oh, of course. Considering those pests have shown up, I'd hardly get anything done.
I already know what to do with the pests. Then you can resume your stuffy studies.
Ah, that's my boy. I'll be watching from the
Why
shadows.
does Vexen have
then.
pointed ears? Yeah, Dead Men Tell No Tales didn't have the same magic, but it did have Javier Bardem being Javier Bardem, so that's cool. Oh, 24.
Thanks, Jack. You could have warned us.
Yeah, everything went topsy-turvy and upsy-downsy.
Well, at least we're back
Goofy,
in the
you're a
land of
cartoon.
the
You're
living.
used to that.
Thank goodness.
Never fear. All according to plan.
But that be no reason to rest easy.
Huh? A ship!
I've never seen one like that.
It's got drones.
Heartless!
Look out!
This does not seem fair. I'm just saying.
Have you allied with those fiends again?
Don't impugn me honor. Why would I conspire with them?
But you did conspire with them.
Could you discuss it later?
Huh?
Get ready!
I sure do wish we could get a little closer.
What? What idea? We can't do that.
Sure we can. We can do all sorts of crazy magic stuff.
We can! Zora! Donald and Goofy!
Yeah, they made
Protect
everything
the
more
ship!
photorealistic
I'll
in this
handle
world.
the Heartless.
And it's less Uncanny Valley. Like, in 2, there's just a clear discrepancy between Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and everything else. I feel like in this one, they're at least consistent. Y is not inverted. It's a flying sim and Y is not inverted. Yeah, Sora, Donald, and Goofy still look a little different, but it's not as bad as 2. Pew, 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 pew. Hey, you have a good lurk. I was expecting another triangle command. Bonk, 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 bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. Ghost Booster Dummy 815. Yeah, that's gonna... Speaking of which, I need to go to the store and pick up some robin snakes to enjoy on my trip. So I can have some Easter candy on Easter Sunday.
Whoa.
Some of the forbidden peeps. Ket's already promised to send me some of the forbidden peeps. Yeah, I know I need to stay near the ship. Give me back my controls. There we go. Come on, give me some help. Take away the weep, 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 weep. I hate that Y is not inverted. Strawberry Pop-Tart tweets. Peeps. That's, yeah, like, did they even have, like, the shortbread taste? I think some of the ones Kit got me were, like, mango chili. Or, like, mango salsa. It was some sprinkles. Just like Pop-Tart, strawberry peep. Okay. So really more like the filling. Because, like, you could put, like, a little piece of shortbread on the bottom of that would actually probably be pretty good just on a normal peak.
All right. Huh? Well, wait. Oh no!
Pop-Tart s'more? Oh, that sounds like diabetes.
Donald? Goofy?
Risk you're willing to take.
Where are the others?
After you fell, we came looking for you. I guess they must have kept going.
That's desertion.
24.
Oh. And I was so happy that we got to see them again.
That eager to sail under Captain Jack Sparrow?
Oh?
Jack!
Crab!
Perhaps you'll consider an arrangement. One which requires nothing from you but information.
That's 25.
Regarding the Brethren Court, no doubt. In exchange for fair compensation, square my debt with Jones. Guarantee my freedom.
Of course. It's just good business.
Were I in a divulgatory mood, what then might I divulge?
Everything. Where are they meeting? What are their plans?
I don't think he's a very trustworthy guy. The Big Betty's kind of Beckett slash
Shall we?
Davy Jones. Like you get the big dramatic
Shall we what?
boat
Some
fight,
pirate
you know.
won't get anywhere without a
whirlpool.
ship. So, let's go get one.
3.
Oh, yes!
Sora and Jack sure are cut from the same cloth.
David Cadillac.
Use that key to free me, Sora, and you have my most certain promise. All the power under sea you ever wish for be yours.
Free her how?
Sora.
I like that Sora's not
wrong?
concerned with the other half of like her offer. She's like, oh, she's locked up. I need to free her.
Nothing really. I'm good.
Also 26.
Nice.
Those less than 26 people are probably really scared now. I do think the underwater sections are quite pretty.
Yeah, Jack must think we'll find a ship here.
They're past the fear stage. They're in denial or acceptance. Fair. Let's take a look at. What does the Frozen Keyblade look like? Right, it's strong in magic. It's probably not a bad idea to have a good magic Keyblade. Although I do have Mirage Staff. This is like a cutscene every 5 minutes or so, basically. I mean, last time we averaged, we got 36, so in 3 hours, it's 12 an hour. So yeah, that is actually every 5 minutes. How much game His actual gameplay. Depends on how long the cutscenes are.
Ah, the French.
Hey, Rick, thank you for the sub. Like 3 over 15 minutes. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, on average. Ah, yes. This is how you fish. You swim with the fish and you just grab them. I feel like there's a hidden Mickey around here. But... Also, Y is still not inverted. It is on the normal camera, but... You okay there, bud? Then... Oh, he's frozen. Okay. It's like that Heartless was just sitting there. I thought he glitched out. Have I checked my settings? No. But Kingdom Hearts is notoriously bad at that. Sea Thunder! I'm sure casting Thunder underwater is fine. Also, I can't check my settings right now because that requires me to go to the normal menu. We need to use L1 and R1 to rotate the camera. Yeah. I'd actually love to get a PS2 and an original copy again because I sold my PS2 and an original copy a long time ago. Just to play original Kingdom Hearts on original hardware. Well, with the HD collections, I opted to not keep my original copy. Plus, it didn't have its original case, so I was like, eh. I was gonna say, resent's a strong word. Okay. Okay, vertical right control, flipped. Okay, so that's better for when we'll never do that again. Yes, that's... No, that's radical aiming. And that's... You are crabby about it. Okay, now it's... No, it's... Okay, so apparently this counts as a vehicle. Also, how are they holding their breath this long? Lobster. I thought lobster lived in colder waters. I do like that the sound mixing when you're underwater is very muffled. It's a nice little touch. there's so many fish. Ah, yes, fire. That should work great underwater. That's the way I came from. Here's the giant room of jellyfish. I probably could, but I could also just swim around them. Welcome. Lando's fancy bronze.
Let's see.
So that's what you get for Bronze Age riding. A fancier bronze is what sticks out to you. It's honestly just as easy to just swim into the jellyfish, take a little damage, and move on. Man, we're gonna have to play some of these Gummy Foam games at some point. Sora would absolutely be the kid that would come up to you at a family reunion and be like, "You got games on your phone? You got Fortnite?" Is fork knife? Thank you very much. I wouldn't know. I've never done that. Oh look, treasure with ominous glowy things next to it.
Something's glowing. That seems suspiciously convenient.
How is Goofy the one to see that?
This could be dangerous.
But Donald, no pirate worth his salt ignores treasure.
You don't know if it's treasure. It's a chest, but it could be empty. Also, this is boss music used originally in Kingdom Hearts 1 that they've sort of reorchestrated. It is used in the Ursula fight in particular, the first Ursula fight. So sad that survival crafting game became the world's most played battle royale shooter. Yeah, well, and redefined the battle royale genre. That treasure chest could be a black hole, yeah, for all we know. You know, all I had to do was steal a bunch of things from PUBG. And now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Thank you.
I can either not read its attacks, or by the time you do get a chance to read them, you don't have any reaction time to do anything. That's kind of a gruesome end.
Oh.
And again, still holding their breath. All death at sea feels pretty gruesome. But don't most fish die at sea? Just by the nature of where they live and who they are? Where are we up to? 27? 27.
Huh? Oh, cool. Woohoo! It's our very own ship.
You certain about that?
Huh? What? Jack?
Finders keepers.
How'd he get here so fast?
Mine. Savvy?
Jack, you already have the Black Pearl.
He wants a fleet.
To which this ship holds no candle. But take what you can, mate. Now then, my ship has a captain, but it does appear I'm in need of a crew. Suppose you'll have to do. Don't dawdle. Climb aboard. Ready now, helmsman?
Ready enough, Captain, but aren't we kind of trapped?
Now, Sora, I know you've made passage through straits far more dire than this.
No, that's a music band.
Just follow your heart's command.
My heart's command is to fire the cannons. Or wait for that to happen. I have opinions? We're at 28 now.
Make way!
You know what? I'm feeling generous. 29. No. Fire the missiles. Vacher? I don't speak French. I call this the Leviathan. Oh, no, Sora.
Now we're true pirates.
Look at our ship with its giant triangles. Vacher la vacher. I still don't speak French. I think this is the first time in Kingdom Hearts there are truly random encounters.
Fire!
This is also a great place to get XP because the enemy ships are like really easy to defeat. It's from Monty Python of the Holy Grail. Ah, I forgot that bit. Pant Pirate Scorpion. Oh no. You want a ship that can turn on a dime? Get a sloop in Pirates, Sid Meier's Pirates. That is an obscenely large ship. No, it's the Nobodies.
But look, this time there's somebody aboard.
Also,
Isn't
what, 29?
Not the merry company I'd hoped
For real this time? No, 28 for real? 29. I don't even remember.
Harley!
A black coat!
Of course.
You back in the organization?
Yes. Surprising, isn't it, that they do me the honor? Never count your cards until they've all been dealt.
Jack, don't you give this creep the time of day.
Come now. Are you really so unsophisticated that you decline a gentlemanly conversation?
What'd you say?
Sora, stand down.
I like
It's
that
the
Sora
code.
takes that as an insult.
Mustn't strike a pirate aboard ship when said pirate offers to confabulate.
Offers to what?
Ah, yes. And how could I love games and contests without honoring the rules? Because only by winning fairly does victory have any savor at all.
But, of course, the code is actually more guidelines than rules. Speak your
28.
piece.
I am looking.
I had to scroll back
For
to
a
what
box.
Gail last said.
A chest, perhaps.
Do math.
You know the one.
Yes. Maybe. No, I know of a box. But said box is not a box you want to trifle with, mate. Trust me.
You don't want to trifle with it. You really want to put it into a proper
wager,
cake.
then.
And of what nature would this wager be?
Baking humor.
What say we have a little race to that charming port town which you hold so dear?
Port Royal.
Yes. Whoever reaches it first is the victor. And the stakes? You tell me
You did
all
it's
about
your name.
that
I was
chest.
counting 28.
Against what?
I had to go back to what you
I
last
will
said.
get you whatever it is you want.
Done.
Jack?
Then we have an accord.
We have an accordion.
Now, let us begin.
All hands, prepare to make sail.
But Jack!
Drop canvas.
Hey! Jack!
With a will, lads.
Jack, listen!
What?
Oh. You can't let him get his hands on that box. Do you really know whatever it is that he's looking for?
Let's just say there's a potential possibility he wants the chest containing Davy Jones' heart.
That seems like the
But
sort
I
of thing
haven't the
they'd be
foggiest
after.
notion why he'd covet the blighted thing.
Is it a black box?
It is more black than blue, so yes.
Do you think it's the one?
Could be.
And winning
Is
the
it black
race
and blue
would
and
keep
red
it
on
out
the
of
inside?
Organization 13's hands.
Hey. You're right.
No, so the rules are fair. They're
What are
quite
you three
arbitrary.
muttering on about?
Yeah.
Basically, we need to win this race.
Precisely. No purchase, no pay. You might have the makings of a pirate after all.
Yeah. Get him! Get him!
One to Port Royal wins.
And I say we make it interesting. Let's try those cannons.
I never said we couldn't fire on him in this race.
Sora,
Oop.
We gotta stay away from those.
Right. Yeah!
No, 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 don't. Don't push me off course like that. That's a bad thing to do. That's a method.
With a will, mate.
Chain shot should slow them down nicely. What about grape shot? Eat through their sails that way. I want to go between the rocks, though. I am still in the lead. You can't see the mini map.
Fire!
But I once got to the gap in between those two rocks, and the nobody ship put me
Hear my call!
like got in there first and like blocked me. It was weird.
What was that?
That was whirlwind. Look, we're firing cannons. He's summoning whirlwinds. It's all fair. It's fairly piratical.
Can't you get any more speed out of her?
It ends here.
I thought that's a tailwind, not tidal wave.
A bit much, eh?
That's one way to win.
Lookouts, report!
Starboard side, all
I've
clear.
been playing a lot of Sid Meier's Pirates lately, and Chainshot is better at taking out crew.
We got this one in the
And
bag.
Grape Shot's better at taking out sails, in my experience.
The game isn't over until it's
29.
over.
The game isn't over until it's over. That's a tautology.
Fire! They're closing in! Come about! Make ready to return fire!
Aye, aye.
Who's loading these cannons?
Cannons! Hear my call! Keep going, Sora! Cannons! Take this!
Man, imagine if you could shoot cannonballs out of the air like that. Okay, that's my
Do
luck.
this! We've got him now!
Loads the cannon. Look, I believe you. I'm just saying, in my lived experience, I have found the inverse to be true in terms of firing on enemy ships.
That's your back!
Fire! Let's do this!
To be fair, Sid Meier's Pirates was always a little janky.
Cannons!
And Donald does not load the cannons. He's right there on the deck. So is Goofy. These cannons are just self-loading. Go up there, loading up magic. Probably want to move.
Fire!
now. Despite the bombardment.
Fire! It ends here.
Keep going, Sora!
That was pretty effective.
Hear my call.
Hey, we took out Luxord's ship. Now we just gotta board it.
Prepare to board.
Donald's loading cans to space time. Why doesn't it have the ability to heal? Right?
Ah, another game it is then.
Blizzard Claws. So now I'm using the Frozen Keyblade. So I want to get the Blizzard Blades. I'm just the fan. Sorry, this is not what we meant by ice skates. This actually has a pretty good AoE end. Let's see Trady Guard's transformation. Mirage Staff. I have a big stick. I forgot how floaty Mirage Staff is. Forget about everything in this area in particular, please. Why do I feel like Luxord wanted us to board his ship and he's using this as a diversion? It's a weird little thought. Ah, yes, we all remember that attack where Jack Sparrow just starts flying.
Magnificent. I salute you all, gentlemen.
30.
You're up to something.
No.
Perish the thought. I know when I've been outdone.
You were outdone before you even started, mate. But I admire your conciliatory way of conceding defeat.
Yes. Now I believe I owe you your prize. But I neglected to ask what it is that you want. Perhaps you'll enlighten me.
Aye, that's easy. I want the chest that's aboard the Dutchman.
No, Jack! Don't tell him!
Brilliant move.
Really?
Not good.
Huh? Oh, Jack!
So, all right, it took you a while to figure it out, too.
Well, I didn't tell him which Dutchman.
You said the flying one.
Actually, I outwitted him.
You knew he'd tell you where it was.
And?
I've always been far more interested in the long game. Now let's see where it takes us. That is, if you stay apace.
Huh?
My ship didn't get that hurt.
After him!
Nay, there's no point.
Why not?
The ship's listing near to scuppers from that cannon fire. She'll be needing repairs. Best make berth at Port Royal.
What?
$31.
Look for crabs. They'll set her right.
Crabs? Why crabs?
Never mind the particulars, mate. The white crabs. Savvy?
No savvy.
Aye, aye.
Time to count that crab. America's greatest television show. Okay, we gotta find a save point.
What's everybody looking at?
I think there's one aboard the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And follow me. All should. Better not get.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's one at the other end of town.
Oi! Over here!
Yeah, I know, Jack, but also...
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I chose the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a save point.
Back off!
I know there has to be one somewhere here in Port Royal. It'd be weird if there wasn't.
I think I see something on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Is it over closer to the fort end of things?
Yeah.
Sora! Over here! I found some! Ready? Here goes! Oh. crabs like water. What about the waterfall?
Well, if they're freshwater crabs, sure, but I don't think these are.
Crabs!
Oh my goodness, is there... Where's the save point?
You should get around.
No time for crab, only time for dinner. Well, it's Reconciliation Monday. I have to go hear confessions. I'm signed up for the 6 o'clock slot. What am I supposed to tell the pastor? Sorry I'm late. I was collecting crabs.
Sora! Over here! I found some!
Do I actually have to get 300 crabs before the save point becomes active? That is ridiculously bad game design, in my opinion. So I was like, Ministry of Crabs?
Crabs!
Like, there should be a green thing on the menu. Or on the map. You can't see that because it's mostly underneath me, but... Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so here's the backup. There is an autosave feature in Kingdom Hearts. So we might just have to go off of where the autosave is.
Around here.
Yeah, it's just what we're going to have to do. So... Because I really do got to get going. Should be at the dock where you are? Yeah, but it's not, so you have to get all the crabs first. And I don't have time for that. That's unfortunate. We'll come back to that. I'm sure the autosave plops me just right there. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. Final count was 31. It's good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow. We're going to be playing Yoshi's Island, and then... maybe Minecraft, maybe something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're gonna wrap. I think it'll be nice to wrap up Yoshi's Island before I leave, and then after that, I'm away for 2 weeks. I'm away on a trip. So hope you have a great time and a blessed and wonderful Easter. Yeah, let's see who's live that we can raid into. Webby's just getting started, so I'm going to throw you on over there. Go give him some love. Raid call is Father Raid. I'm going to have to raid and dash. Sorry in advance, Webby. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.